All right, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in. It's really nice to see so many of you joining in. I'm very excited for this headless commerce plugin. Let's start by discussing what headless commerce is, why it is needed, and what are the benefits of it. Then we can discuss how we can implement it in of this, and what are the challenges that we might face. So headless commerce basically is decoupling of front end from the back end in such a way that both are capable of running independently. And this decoupling is mainly achieved through APIs, where we expose the core functionalities of the backend. The next question that should be coming to the mind is why do we need headless commerce? What's the need of decoupling this front end and the back end? Earlier, the customer, when he used to shop, it's only through a single point. Like he used to go to a website and place the order. But now the things are changing. Now he has got many touch points. Like he can place order from apps, Android apps or iOS app. He can place order from voice assistant, Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant. Then in addition, we also have the legacy websites. There are also social media plugins now that are being used to place the order. So with the rise of and now there is also a rise of Internet of Things. So many more touch points will be available. So to manage all this, decoupling should is very important to maintain easily integrate these new touch points and all. So in this decoupling, the mainly the front end application will be making a call, and the data will be provided it to from the backend. And in case some one application, one touch point needs to be updated, we do not have to change the entire backend and something like that. Only one something, the entire the process that app should be updated or website should be updated, kind of a thing. Data. There are also numerous other benefits of the headless commerce, like integration with new channel and touchpoints will be easy, economical, and quick. They will be easy to maintain and update, and the front end developer will be more focused on user experience and innovation in the front end presentation layer. Now, Office also have the support for REST API. So, in my opinion, this is the perfect time to implement this headless commerce. We will be using that REST REST implementation for exposing the API. There might be some more points that I might have missed if somebody wants to add something to it. The initial discussion. All right. So the next thing we need to discuss is how we are going to implement this. There might be several challenges that we might face, like the ones mentioned by Mridul and Deepak in the mailing list related to shopping cart. We have to also consider that shopping cart, and then there will be also be other things like which all API we need to expose the endpoints that will be needed. And then after we have prepared the list, we can also design the individual API once the list is ready. There are also several references, open source projects which have already implemented headless commerce, like Vue Storefront and Pop Commerce of Moki, which we can use for a reference to start. Somebody would like to add something to this? How it will.
Yeah, Arpit, I would like to add something here. Like you mentioned that we are going to have some challenges on the cart level for Opbiz since cart is mainly maintained in the session in Opbiz. So I would like to mention the model of Moki framework here. Like I would like to ask Mridul here, like should we refer the model maintained by Moki here to uh, for the order processing which is there in Moki for the rest implementation? I mean, replacing cart with the order modeling of Moki.
Uh, I think that definitely that is personally I believe that it's a long needed refactoring or implementation that we need in OFBs as well. In fact, if we want to be future ready, also even the one interesting aspect that I always think of is today there is no way in OFBs to be able to place an order using the order data model directly. You have to go through the cart. There are not even any services in place that could possibly create the order directly using the out of the box data model structure that we have today. uh, so I think with that said, that could be a possible way or possible direction that we should be going in, but at the same time it means that it won't be going to be straightforward. Shopping cart is a complex data structure, and today it supports hundreds of use cases that OFBs has today. It definitely is able to consume a lot many configuration inputs from the user in various forms, and then it has all the right triggers in place to compute different data that is needed based on this configuration for that particular order and place a final order. Some of the examples are like being able to calculate the taxes, being able to calculate the shipping, being able to calculate promotions, discounts, adjustments. So like shopping cart today already has a lot of these things embedded, and these are only a few of those configurations or use cases that we are talking about. Even if we dive further, it supports dropship orders. If you add a supplier information to the shopping cart object, it has the ability to place the dropship order specifically for that supplier. And then there are again like hundreds of such use cases that shopping cart handles today. So definitely, like as you suggested, that we should probably evaluate the data model approach for working with shopping cart. That is definitely the way to go, but we should also keep this in mind that this is not like a small task that is ahead of us, because we won't be able to replicate all the shopping cart functionalities as is with the order data model that easily. We'll need a definite plan to be able to achieve that. And again, like not necessarily we have to achieve that all today. Maybe with this headless approach or this API implementation, if we are able to come up with an MVP, we could define that MVP and maybe start with that, and maybe try to implement those specific use cases to support this MVP in the shopping cart implementation using the order data model, and uh, with time try to enrich it. Try to basically uh, yeah uh, go through all the use cases that shopping cart supports, and with time enrich it with those use cases and those implementation. So we could have a long term roadmap for that, but that's one good thought, I think. But at the same time, I would say that is one option. I think the first task with us is to be able to plan the headless implementation uh, in the right direction, and try to come up with an MVP that we could release as a plugin, which is in a way complete in itself. And definitely, like shopping cart could possibly be one of the roadblocks. But at the same time, while working on this, I think together we could see what are the approaches that we could take. Is there a possibility that we could somehow extend and use the same shopping cart model, but or like it would be better to basically start from scratch and try to come up with a version of shopping cart that is better to use with the headless integration. So I think those are the questions that we will need to answer. But I wouldn't say like we could conclude it right now. But with time, as we work more on this, we'll definitely be able to move towards the conclusion. And if we can gather more thoughts from the community, people might have some ideas on how to approach it the best. It's great.
Okay, one question that I have is when we are switching from shopping cart to the order data model, how it would be for the backend? Like, will we be disrupting the current order management from the backend, or that would be working with the shopping cart itself? Because if we go for MVP, it will drastically impact it. But so that also we need to consider
Yes.
that we gracefully degrade it because existing systems are working on shopping cart itself. So
Yes, exactly. And in fact, not degrade it. Like the current shopping cart implementation is widely used. It is used in the for the e-commerce as well today, and it is used for the all the backend order entry workflows for purchase order, for sales order. So I don't think like we could basically just disregard that implementation and try and replace it with the new model. Basically, I think the approach that we'll need here is to probably have two implementations of the shopping cart. One is data driven, one is like object oriented, and with time we need to, I think, as I was saying, like enrich this data driven version to a level where it kind of supports as many use cases like the object oriented version does today. Only then we could probably take a call based on the community agreement to discard the object oriented implementation. But again, I'm not sure like we would ever be able to do that. Maybe we'll we can always keep them both, and people have the liberty to choose any one of those. So like I think like what you meant was like today the order entry workflow that we have in the OFBase order application, would we replace it with the data driven model? What I would say, we'll keep it as is. I think we could, if we move towards data driven approach, I think we could possibly also implement a similar version of order entry that uses this data driven card, and people would have two different flavors to work with in future. Because like it would take a lot of time for this data driven shopping cart to be mature enough.
right.
Yeah, so to achieve this, we can definitely take the reference from the integrations, like we integrate Shopify, we integrate Magento, or sometimes we, in some projects, we have order import as well. So it's kind of, all these implementation are not using shopping cart. They are using the order data model and using the checkout and order services to import the order in the database. And but we need to actually analyze how we can achieve this, because maybe we need to introduce some middle level status, like it is a draft status order if we are committing to database. Because in object oriented, currently we are storing everything in object, and then in one single processing we are storing the order by analyzing the stored detail in the shopping cart. But when we follow the order data model directly without any object, then we need to finalize that if we take all the order related information in one shot in one single API, or we will be using multiple micro APIs, then how we will be committing to database and then managing the status. And because if a user come and then he add some products into cart, and then he do not process that order, do not place that order, then how we are going to manage that? So yeah, so definitely there will be challenges that we need to figure out.
Yes, I think it would. Yeah, I agree, Ravi. Like we would definitely need, yeah, some level of design effort. To yeah, the first effort that we would need is designing this data-driven shopping cart. And in fact, like I think many people use some way, in some way or the other, try to use the data model directly to place the orders. Yeah, in fact, like I think in OFBiz we would probably see some references where orders are created directly using the data order data model, and not with the shopping cart. But then those are very specific use cases and specific references. I think when we talk about shopping cart, even if it is data driven, it should definitely behave as a shopping cart. Like shopping cart has its own nature and its own functionalities. So it would be a bit different when we are working with data driven shopping cart, but at the same time its nature should be similar to shopping cart. So like yeah, I think definitely, like as you mentioned, it may be there might be some different status, but it should be able to build the order. Like I think with shopping cart we do have a lot of methods today. I think we could simply refer the object oriented implementation of the shopping cart. The shopping cart object itself has so many of those supported methods that helps you modify or manipulate the cart. So I think there could be those references, but at the same time, yeah. Also, I was thinking like definitely shopping cart is going to be a big discussion when we are discussing this headless OMS approach. And maybe like as a group we could go back and gather some thoughts and suggestions and discuss it as a separate topic. And in the meantime today, still like it would be a good idea. I think the core idea of this call was to able to start some planning around the headless API implementation. So I think it would be a good idea to discuss some thoughts on what could be our first steps about coming up with a plan moving forward for the implementation. So I
Yes,
think,
thank
yeah,
you.
yes, sir.
Yes, Anshul, go ahead, please.
Yes, yeah, I think definitely when we are talking about headless commerce, it means like the API. I think we could, as a group, we could, yeah, try to come up with the standard API specification document for the headless commerce. We might be taking some references. I think there are a lot of API implementations available today. But at the same time, I think the key idea would be to expose the OFBase e-commerce features as an API. So maybe, yeah, first, yeah, first task that we could do is to try and come up with an standard API specification that could drive the e-commerce.
Yes, Madhu. From what I gather, the information, I think the shopping cart we need to look into more, that how we can modify it, and it would be needing a lot of discussion, and we need to ask the community for their suggestions as well, that how we can implement, and it should not break any current functionality, that all the functionality are related to the shopping cart. So that should be our main goal, and we should also prepare an MVP, that this will be the minimum product that we will be working on, then we can improve on it further. So anyone like to add anything to it?
Uh, uh, Here I wanted to add one point where we are going to manage these documents in ASCII doc and or in Wiki, or I mean Orbis Wiki space, because we are moving everything from Wiki to ASCII. So
Uh, I think specifically for the planning purpose and planning documents that could go in wiki. But out of this product effort, if you produce any technical or user documentation that can be made public, I think yeah, that is a good point, Ravi. I think like when we are, when we are, if we are on a road to implement this headless commerce plugin, I think it would be a good idea to produce the technical and user documentation with it as well. And I think that's where we could, yeah, possibly use ASCII dot and everything. But for initial planning, as a group, Wiki would be a lot better and lot easier. Because those would be mostly the rough planning documents. It would be like a roadmap document. As more people show interest in contributing, I think we could have a page on the wiki that links with the available Jira tasks to work on as well, which people could pick. And uh, basically be able to track the overall implementation of the effort.
yeah, so we can definitely follow this. I mean, I was also thinking like if we create documentation regarding API specifications, then we can also start directly with ASCII doc, and then I mean, including that ASCII doc URL in the ticket Jira, and then doing further discussions if wanted regarding that API specifications on that Jira. So for each API, there will be one Jira, and we will be directly pointing to ASCII doc URL. I think ASCII documentation are accessible on the web. Yes.
Actually, ASCII docs needs to be maintained in the code itself. So right now we don't have the repository. For proposal purpose, we can have the wiki, and then
Okay.
as we have the repository, we can start having the documentation in the repo itself.
Okay. Yeah, because I came across some links which Jax shared earlier on some email thread where some of the ASCII docs are accessible on the web, though they are
Yeah,
in the code, but they are accessible on the web.
yeah. Actually, our billboards and the build tools available out there, they generate those ASCII docs and they are put at some place, and they automatically runs the docs out there.
Okay, got it.
So once we will add our plugin and add those documents, it will be part of that whole website. So we won't need extra efforts for that. So
Yeah, got
definitely
it.
we should go for ASCII.
Yes, yeah, I think definitely for proposal purpose, initially we'll need to stick with the wiki. Because yeah, I think ASCII docs needs to be maintained in the repository, and unless we commit something as a plugin to the repository, we won't be able to uh, access those ASCII docs or manage those ASCII docs. Also, I think these ASCII docs are going to be a finished product, because they are the final API specifications. And before we are able to come up with that final API specifications, I think there would be a lot of discussions, lot of homework that we'll need to do, and a lot of discussions would lead to that final product. So I think all of that we could manage on Wiki. And yeah, as we start contributing it as a plugin, like however, like there is a lot of planning to do. I think once we are at development stage, I think we'll need to be able to work with a fork where multiple people could collaborate. So once we start committing something at the code level, I think we could start maintaining ASCII docs as well. And also, actually, when you raised this point about ASCII doc, it also occurred to me, like in the REST implementation, the plugin that has been released. I think it also supports Open API specification. So we need to take a look. I think I haven't looked at it deeply right now, but yeah, we need to see like if there is a way to uh, yeah, basically come up with the to basically publish the API specifications or API documentation using Open API specification. I think is derived from Swagger. So
Yeah.
basically, Swagger UI already has we have the ability to publish our APIs directly using the Swagger UI. In that case, we probably won't need the ASCII docs. We might use that feature. But yeah, it's still like it's I'm talking about it like from top of my head. I haven't really looked into the implementation at this time.
I've shared a migration document from Subversion to Git. We can have similar proposal where we can have our checklisted, like if we have some steps in future, like we have to do this. So we can add such that here in our proposal also. Like there they have to migrate some repositories and then change build what settings. So they have made checklist out there. So similar efforts we can put into the document itself so that they are in track also, and they are more of an organized effort.
Yes. Yes, I think like definitely like one clear roadmap that we would have is about all the API endpoints that we could come up with. That would give us a clear roadmap about what API endpoints that we need to implement. And uh, I think like each API endpoint would need further analysis to be able to work with the current OFB's e-commerce capabilities, because we definitely want to expose the out of the box OFB's e-commerce capabilities using those APIs. So that would need further analysis of the supported code level. And do we need some refactoring, or do we need to do some sort of re-implementation to be able to use those out of the box services or methods that gives us the data to manage the e-commerce. So so I think like there would be many tasks that would come out of the analysis once we start it. So maybe the first step would be to come up with a document that lists all the API endpoints initially that we could think of. I think it could be a live document, and we would definitely like it's not going to be a final document on day one. I think we together need to work on it, and yeah, kind of add more details and information to it, and try to basically come up with something that is acceptable, uh, and then probably present it to the community as well, so that we have some approval from the community to start with that. Uh, Basically, yeah, that API specification. Like first part is defining the list of API endpoints. The next part would be to taking each API endpoint, then further drilling it down to generate the request and response data structure for. So there would be, I think, a lot of documentation that we might be doing here. I think like we could have one initially, like we could have one simple document that lists all the API endpoints. It would be a really high level document, and we could have another detailed document that would where we could basically list down all the tasks needed to be able to build one specific API endpoint. Even there could be a section that might refer to tasks that actually needs to be taken care of before being able to implement any endpoint, right?
Right.
In fact, like I think like we know that we have complexity around shopping cart object, and more discussions need to be done. But then there are other aspects of the of e-commerce, like customer profile management and things like that, that could be like low hanging fruits. We could pick them earlier while we plan in parallel for some of the other complex implementation.
Yeah, so I think I mean, after today's call, we can log a umbrella ticket for this whole effort, and then we can log some tickets for this API endpoints documentation, and then for individual specification of API.
Yes, Ravi. That's a good idea. So I need to ask one question that this shopping cart that we have, the problem with we need to think about the shopping cart and this API endpoint. Can they go hand in hand, or do we need to take care of the shopping cart first?
We will actually need to analyze all that. I think like there would be work involved, like some among this group, someone like some of us would need to take the responsibility to try to do some analysis on the current code patterns. Would they be usable in any way in this headless approach? And if not, what would be the architecture that we might need to shift to be able to implement the headless plugin? So that is something like cannot take a call today directly. We'll need some analysis and then come up with some ideas, and again, like I think I will anything that we come up with, we'll need to present it to the community for first for approval and try and move in that direction.
Yes, we can do that. So, from what I think we should first be coming up with the list of APIs endpoints that needs to be done and share them with the community that these are the things that we are thinking that this needs to be implemented. And then once they are out there, we can discuss upon the individual one and what problems we'll be facing. And as Mridul mentioned, that we can implement the low hanging fruits first, like customer profile and all. So once we are done with the initial suggestions to the community that we are thinking of this and we get their approval, some of us would start with the customer profile API and all, product catalog.
Yes. Yeah, and I think like when we say that we want to implement headless commerce for OFBIS or on top of OFBIS, I think the first thing it means is like we need to we are looking to expose the OFB's e-commerce capabilities as a headless API. So I think like it would also be a great idea to start documenting the e-commerce feature list. I think we have a good demo website in place today. If we could only take that website and document the supported features from that e-commerce website, and then take it as a base. Definitely this could be a parallel effort. Have a feature list of OFB's e-commerce, and start planning with documenting the possible API endpoints. And then we could then as a second step, we could define the MVP from that list of e-commerce features. Like if we have a list of API endpoints ready with us, we will need to know like what we want to support with these API endpoints. What features would it be supporting? And even to derive the MVP, we'll need at least a subset of those features that we would be wanting to expose from the current e-commerce implementation. So I think having two documents, like one the e-commerce feature list that OFB supports today, and then the API endpoint documentation. We could to start with these two documents, and then I think we could meet up again to take the next steps. Uh, I I think, yeah, we will probably need some more discussions even while we are starting with the documentation. So we can take a call as we go. But yeah, let's start with two documents. I think, like, interestingly, Pranay has recently created one page on the Open Wiki. It is in context of the OMS, like OFBs as OMS. I think when I went through it, the idea Pranay is presenting here is pretty much similar. Like, what do we like? What users expect from an OMS? What features OFB support today as an OMS, and what are the gaps that might need to be filled? I think we could probably take similar approach, but more in context of our API implementation. Uh, I think like OFB's e-commerce has a lot of features to offer already. Like it has many mature features, but yeah, the main goal here is to be able to expose them as APIs. So yeah, let's, I think, try and come up with these two documents, and maybe uh, I think both of these could be again live documents, and we should share it with the community as well. I think if people see things happening even on the wiki, that would probably generate more interest, and people might help us with this effort, and having more ideas and suggestions would kind of help us move in the right direction on this.
Yes, Mridul, that's a great idea. I think we should prepare two live documents in Wiki, one for commerce feature set that we offer, and another for the API endpoints. Uh, I'll create those documents and share the link in the mailing list, and then we can all as a group edit that document, provides our input that we think these are the endpoint that needs to be done, or these are the features that e-commerce offers. And after we have those initial things, then we can decide that these are the features that we were planning for an MVP, and we will be supporting this. And once we get the approval from the community that okay, everything is fine, we can go ahead with this, then we can start planning the implementation part of it.
Yes, yes. And yeah, I think like we need to present all of this to community, And I think like uh, if we are not changing any of the existing behavior, and if we are trying to build something new, then I think it's fairly acceptable. If we go in and start changing the current functionalities that could have potential side effects, then it would become difficult. It would be a difficult situation to be able to implement it. But at the same time, uh, like uh, at high level, I don't think that we'll need to go in and change anything that what's in there today. We would probably need to come up with newer ways to expose things in a better way for the API. So I think it won't be a problem. So yeah, I think let's start this documentation and planning, present it to the community, and I think it would be great if we could start making some progress on this at implementation level near soon.
Yes. So we'll start with the documentation of these two e-commerce feature set and API endpoints. And then we can discuss that shopping cart, that how we need to re-implement it and what could be the side effects of it and how it will be affecting the other areas. And once we can discuss on that shopping cart, then we can start with the actual implementation. So what do you guys think, that should we create another mail for that shopping cart, or should we keep it in this mailing list only, that we need to refactor that?
I think if you could share the MOMs of today's call on the mailing list, definitely one of the point would be that actually we had a good discussion around this shopping cart. So I think initially we could share the conclusions from our discussion, or like minutes of our discussion, even around the shopping cart in the same email thread. But I think initially, before starting any new thread, I would say that we would definitely, among us would need to take the responsibility to go in and try and evaluate if how we will be able to expose the current shopping cart. Are there any ways we could expose the current shopping cart as headless APIs? If not, what would be the best approaches or suggestions that we could come up with before we could present it to the community? That might be a whole new discussion. If it comes to a point that we'll need a new implementation of shopping cart, then there's going to be a whole different discussion. But initially, I think we need to analyze it first and see if we could somehow work with what we have today, so that we make progress in the headless API implementation. And at the same time, if we come up with details around how we could re-implement it using the data-driven approach, maybe we could start it in a separate thread, and it could be like another implementation or another effort that we could initiate with the approval from the community.
Here,
Right.
we can also take reference how David did this. Like earlier, it was shopping cart and Mockey also, but then he migrated gradually. So, what approach he took, that can also be a good reference point to start with, because we have GitHub repository in place. And
Yeah, I think that's a really great idea. Like we could refer the history of it as well, and that would be a bit helpful. So again, like I would say, I think uh, in general, like if we come up with an idea to implement the data-driven shopping cart, which doesn't affect the current shopping cart implementation or current backend implementation at all, I think we could always start with that idea and maybe like start some implementation around it. But when is when we talking in context of headless implementation, headless commerce implementation, I think we need to try to find ways which could which could take this implementation forward, because it's quite possible that if we wait for the data driven cart implementation, it might take longer than expected to be able to start making progress on the headless commerce plugin itself. So yes, definitely, I think I personally like the idea of the data driven approach. It actually had been on my mind since long. But yeah, it's a big effort. But then yeah, at the same time, uh, that itself is a separate topic from the headless commerce implementation, and we can in fact take it up separately and plan something around it separately.
Yes, Mithun. So I think now we should first prepare these two documents, and then we can include only that part that doesn't need too much re-implementation or refactoring, and include that in the MVP, and then we can see how it goes on from there.
Yeah. Interestingly, like you will, since we are talking about e-commerce, you will need the card for the MVP. So, I think what we can do here is to try and see like how can we work with what we have today. Even in the meantime, if we are doing a parallel effort, that could be in future very useful for the headless commerce implementation. Maybe
Yes.
at that point, if we can find ways to work with what we have today, then we would be able to start making progress on the MVP implementation of headless commerce, at least.
Yes,
I was
Mithun.
also thinking if we can skip the card part in the first MVP, like we just provide the API for order and rest of the other thing like catalog and customers. And once it is on the path of progress, we can gradually include the part of shopping cart implementation. Because yeah, if we go deep into the thinking of how we would implement cart and how what approach we should follow, I think it will delay the whole our implementation of headless commerce. So I think we should first start with skipping the cart part and providing the basic APIs which are straightforward. Because
Right,
without
Mohammed.
cart also, I think uh, it won't be much usable for e-commerce, but still, if someone wants to use the APIs, then they can use it and directly create the orders through order API.
Yes, I think Mohammed, yeah, while you were away, I think we discussed this. The idea is to define the roadmap and basically start with the endpoints or the areas that we could work that we could work with right away, like the customer profile. I think
Yeah,
it would be an easy piece for us.
right.
That would also give us enough time to analyze the shopping cart implementation, try to use it in some ways, or maybe plan uh, uh, a re-implementation effort using the data-driven approach. So it would give us some time to do that, and maybe uh, if at the end we come to conclude that data-driven approach is the must to be implement the cart APIs in headless commerce, then maybe having headless commerce in context and this e-commerce feature list in context would also give us some idea about the MVP definition of this data-driven cart implementation. So I think let's start with some of this documentation and planning, and In the meantime, like it would be a good idea to maybe meet again uh, to discuss a bit more about cart, uh, because I think like some of these other aspects may be easy to implement. Cart would involve much more discussion.
Right. And also, with regards to meeting for the meeting next time, I feel that we are enough for we are enough people to start the documentation and start the process and make the project in progress. And once we have some tangible documents and progress to show to the community, I think after that more people from the community will definitely involve. So before our next meeting, I think we should have some initial documents and roadmap ready so that we can share it with the community, and then we can plan the next meeting.
So even we can prepare this documentation in the community. I mean, in the wiki space itself, instead of any other space. So we will be doing on the OBS wiki itself, and then document get matured. Then we can even share those in mailing list to highlight that review these document,
Right. Yes.
something like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
So here I also want to make one point. Should we create one wiki page for the team? I think there are some pages for some efforts on the Obis wiki. I think Adit can
Yeah, we
highlight
can
it.
create the WIP page. We can have it in. There is, I think, there is a space for those proposals, so we can keep it there.
Okay.
I will
Yes,
share.
I think it would be a great like if we have a space for that and we could use it. So
And also one more thing I was thinking, Apache is using Slack group. So should we continue to use Google Chat or should we switch to Slack? Because with Slack it is easier to share the link, invite link. But right now we cannot share the Google Chat room link, like on public space that you can click on this link and get into the room and start get into the discussion. So should we do along with our Google Chat group? Should we have a Slack group also where we can just post updates and have some inputs, so that even in future, if someone joins our effort, he he will be in a place that that is something familiar with.
yes, I think like we could. I'm not really sure, but I think like ASF Slack is kind of open for everyone, right? Like you don't need to have an Apache ID or something
No,
like.
no, yeah,
It's open for everyone, and we could create a separate channel for us for this particular effort, where we could invite uh, uh, even the people who don't have the Apache ID, right?
yeah.
All right. So I think we should wrap this up. I'll try to create a few wiki documents for the e-commerce feature list and API endpoints, and together we can collaborate on it and make changes to it. And from as Aditya mentioned, I'll get in touch with him and see from the next one that how we can make the next meeting on Slack and few other things. If anybody would like to add something to the call.
So basically, we will be creating Jira, right, Mritu sir? I mean, the umbrella task for this whole effort, and then subtask for documentation, or directly creating wiki pages.
Uh, I think initially we could start with at least directly creating the wiki pages. Let's take it some shape. I feel before we start creating task in Jira. I think because like uh, there could be like different kind of work efforts that would come out of our planning. So we need to see like how we would like to manage it in Jira, like because I think like first is all the API endpoints, then there would be tasks to define the API specification. When with that API endpoint, there could be certain accompanying task that we will need to uh, that we would need to implement to be able to implement that particular API. So I think like it's just not a two-level tree that like we create an umbrella task and then just start creating subtasks to it. So let's first create these documents. This will give us more idea about the work breakdown. So once we have a bit of idea around the work breakdown, it would be easier for us to plan that work effort in the Jira so that it's properly traceable and easily understood.
Okay.
And even I'm not sure like uh, for uh, for this initial documentation purpose. Uh, I believe like I think these documents are more for planning and reference purpose. Like if these were going to be some public technical documentation that we would be producing, or a user documentation that we would be producing. Like for example, when we migrated to Git, we produced a documentation. I think in those cases, it's probably more sensible to create a Jira ticket for it. But I too am not sure. Maybe just start with creating these documents.
Yeah, what we can do is initially we can define the design and our what we are up to. As time goes on and we are at the verge of starting something, then we can have a Jira ticket and start creating a small tickets for that, so that at that time we will have more of a clear vision that what we are up to. Right now, if we will create sub tickets also, that won't matter because we still need to study things.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. It's been a great call. I'll share the MOM on the mailing list and create the pages as discussed in the call. And we can add to the call, and we can add to those documents. And after that, we can plan for a next call once we have something substantial.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
Thank
Thanks.
you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good day. Have a good night. Bye bye.
thank you everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.